Alright, time to make bread again. I have all my stuff. I'm just going to do the regular 500 gram recipe to make a regular loaf. So I found doing 200, oops, that's too much. 200 grams of all-purpose white, unbleached, and then the balance is wheat. So it's more wheat heavy, but it's still, I found that that's a good mixture for me that works really well. All right, I do a quick mix of the flour. You don't really need to do this, I just do it because make sure that everything looks even and feels even and that there's any bumps. Because it's humid here, today's a real hot day, it's humid, this stuff will start clumping up. So, put my water in. So doing like 75, 76% hydration. I think for me, I've had the best luck. If I do more, I've done 80, 82, and it just gets too sloppy. It doesn't get as firm as I want it to be. So a little bit less, and you can always add a little bit more water if you need it, but you can't take it away. That's always the rule. It's like with any seasoning too, right? It's looking good. It came together pretty nicely. See how it's holding together already? So this is the auto lease. This is just getting the flour and water together, and then we'll work on our next steps. But first, let it sit here for an hour, let it rest, and then we'll work on the next step is putting in salt and starter. So first, rest, and we'll be back in an hour. This, and I need to get my salt, but check out my starter. I fed it around 10 hours ago, so it's got nice odor to it. I made it a bit drier, so hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Let me get some salt. All right, I'll put some divots in this. Add my salt. This is something you can't do with a mixing machine, and that's feel it and make sure that your salt is evenly distributed. I always worry about making sure the salt is evenly distributed because it won't taste like anything if you don't do this. It might have a slight flavor, but not having any salt in this at all would be just like you're making like a dirt rock, basically. Usually when I do this, it takes anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes of mixing. So this one feels pretty good. I want to keep it just a little bit on the drier side, simply because for me, too much moisture always means it's just going to get really floppy and then you can't shape it properly. And then if you can get it to bake, you have a frisbee and not a football. I want a football. I don't want a frisbee. Frisbee will just go out and spread out and bleh. And the flavor is fine, but you don't want a piece of toast that looks like one of those little breads that you use when you drink coffee. I can't remember the name of them, but it needs to be. We don't want a pizza. We want a football. We don't want nothing flat and too much. There's got to be a trick to it. I'm just not good enough. Like this is loaf 57, I think. somewhere in the mid upper 50s. So like doing this actually does, you're probably not supposed to do this, but I really want to make sure this thing, because when you evenly distribute the starter amongst the established dough, that's when you get a nice even rise. Because if all of the concentration is here, it'll pop up here, but then this side is going to be the flat side I was saying I don't want, right? So, I don't know. How long has that been? Yeah, about 8 minutes to get it to this point. It's a little bit scratchy, but that's not a big deal. Once it relaxes, you won't notice it anymore. So, comes out all in one piece, that's good. It's sticky, but it's a little stickier than I'd like, but it's not too damp. So there's a balance you got to figure out. Today's really hot, it's going to be really humid, might even rain later on, so it's going to be really just nasty outside, real muggy. Typical Houston summer stuff. But it's good. It is 12:16 in the afternoon, so we'll reconvene in an hour. All right, first fold. Feeling pretty good. Pretty stretchy, but not too dry. Has a nice wiggle to it today. So, all right. Fold it over nice. It's set. First fold is done. And now we wait another hour. All right, third final fold's done. Feels pretty good, nice and jiggly. So give it an hour, let it rest, and then we'll go into our shaping. We are ready to go. It's got a lot of fermentation. It's nice, a lot of bubbles. So yeah, okay, we're in good shape. I'm not gonna put any flour down. I found that if you just put it, let the resistance of it being a little bit tacky, let that stretch and hold it. Rather than put a little bit of flour, then it's going to be kind of sticky. It's not going to be sticky enough and it won't hold it. It won't make a nice little loaf like this. So, so this is set. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to put it in the oven with the light on. That should do it. Give it a couple hours and it should be set. Proofed, I mean. All right, we're ready to go. Let's put this onto here. Hopefully it'll land well. It feels good. It feels good in the hand here. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. cleaning, it feels solid this morning. So I'm gonna wipe some of that down. My mom. I'm gonna put 3 stripes in it today. 1, 2, and 3. Make sure they're good. Make sure you cut deep enough. So, there we go. Don't drop it on your, don't drop the razor on your foot. The razor is covered though. Alright, let's put it in the Dutch oven and let's get moving here. Let's see, it is about 20 minutes in the oven and with the cover on, then about 13 minutes with the cover off to get some color on it, and we're good. So we'll see what we got in just under 20 minutes. Alright, it rose pretty nice actually. Look how the slits are kind of like pushed out, which is good. So nice slits. It rose a decent amount. Like, I don't know how well you can tell, but yeah. It almost doubled in size. Maybe it grew like by 60-70%. So it looks good. It feels good. It has a real nice fermentation. All these little bubbles. Has a really delicious odor. So 9:48 in the morning. I'll start cracking this open a little bit later, but looks good. Alright, it's the next morning. Let me cut a piece of this bread, see what we got. Pretty good looking crumb there. Nice and solid, there's no softness. It's a good rise up. So, first thing I do, it's Monday morning, so I'm getting ready for work. Make myself a nice big piece of toast. This, I like to toast it at like a 4 on my toaster, and I do it twice. So I take it, it's a little too big, so I put it at an angle, and then I put it at the other angle. And that usually gets a really fine toast. With this thickness, it's good enough that I get the butter to soak all the way through, and it really has a really nice flavor when it's toasted. So this is my breakfast. I'm gonna go eat.